Highguard may have received negative reactions at the Game Awards, but my hands-on experience with the game shows it to be a unique and fun PvP invasion shooter that you won't want to miss. Highguard didn't generate much excitement when it was revealed as a new shooter IP at the Game Awards last December. Reactions ranged from mild at best to sharply skeptical at worst. It was just another free-to-play shooter trying to carve out a place in an already crowded genre. At the time, it was easy to poke fun. Last week, I went to Los Angeles to try out the game. I carried a mix of curiosity and caution with me. The big promises and genre-mixing terms started to make me wary, but I still wanted to see what an indie studio in 2026 could do with a shooter, especially one trying to avoid following trends rather than chasing them. Highguard is positioned as a PvP invasion shooter. At first, this sounded like marketing fluff, the hope of innovation by combining two genres. But after spending about 6 hours in its world, I became convinced that the label is accurate, not because it's catchy, but because there's no better way to describe what it actually does.
Every match tells a story.
Highguard is not a battle royale or a loot shooter. It's not a traditional hero shooter either. It borrows elements from these genres, but its identity comes from how those elements come together, and more importantly, how they are concentrated. Each match begins with a simple setup. 3-person teams select a base and fortify it, protect it, and grow attached to it. Losing it means defeat in a long, evolving conflict. Then you take to the world on a mount. Instead of running endlessly or sliding rapidly, Highguard's mounts give movement a sense of momentum. You crest hills, wind through rocky formations, and engage in armed skirmishes. Fast but not frantic, fluid but not chaotic. If you've spent time in Apex Legends, you'll recognize the roots in shooting and reaction, but Highguard slows things slightly, making positioning and planning feel more meaningful. The open world highlights Highguard's hybrid nature. You scavenge for items and upgrade your gear, following a path reminiscent of looter shooters. At the same time, you observe enemy movements and engage in skirmishes at visible points. Then comes a storm. Magical hurricanes signal the arrival of the Great Sword, the match's central catalyst. Whoever claims it gains the power to breach enemy base shields and launch a full-scale assault. It's a brilliantly designed single object with huge consequences, a blunt approach made elegant. Carrying the sword feels dangerous in the best way. You become a moving target, a glowing sign of your intent. Your team transforms from opportunistic looters into a disciplined assault force, while the opposing team prepares for a siege. If the defense holds, the shields are eventually restored and the siege tower collapses. You feel the map breathe. Then everything escalates. Higher-tier gear enters circulation, and a new Shieldbreaker spawns elsewhere. The stakes rise again and again, until a base falls permanently. This structure gives Highguard a unique rhythm, unlike anything I've felt in other shooters. Matches can stretch close to an hour, yet never feel excessive. Organic momentum builds through repeated skirmishes. You remember early clashes and failed assaults. When victory finally comes, it carries a sense of earned accomplishment rarely felt in multiplayer shooters.
Power is knowledge in disguise.
A big reason this system works is because of the Warden characters in Highguard. I gravitated toward Condor, a scouting-focused Warden. His ability, Eyes in the Sky, sends his bird to scout and reveal moving enemies. His passive, Hunter's Instinct, alerts him when enemies are nearby. His ultimate, Flying Guardian, releases 3 clouds of smoke that trap enemies inside. None of these abilities deal damage or win fights on their own, but together, they turn Condor into a central hub of intelligence. I was constantly winning, not because I aimed better, but because I knew where enemies were coming from in advance. I could warn my team and avoid dangerous moves. At its best, Highguard is a game about making information-driven decisions. Team coordination is mandatory here. If you like roaming the map alone, Highguard will challenge you. Every successful raid felt like the result of a carefully executed plan. One player flanked, another provided support, and the third applied pressure. When things went wrong, it was usually due to lack of communication or overzealous moves. The game offers a ping system to support nonverbal communication, but it's a bit lacking at the moment.
Marking enemies quickly in the middle of a fight feels slow and clunky, so I often relied on voice chat because it was faster. Still, I appreciate that the system exists. Any feature that facilitates teamwork is a step in the right direction, even if it needs some refinement.
A shooter that can keep you for hours.
What surprised me the most was how easy it was to lose track of time. I usually prefer shorter play sessions in shooters. In competitive multiplayer games, 2 hours is typically my limit before fatigue sets in. But with Highguard, I played for about 6 hours and found myself wishing I could keep going. The game's escalating structure, combined with how each match tells a different story, perfectly creates that just one more match feeling. Then there's the business model. All in-game purchases are purely cosmetic and direct. There are no loot boxes or chance-based elements. That sends a clear message. Wildlight Entertainment is a studio founded by experienced professionals who chose to remain independent, and Highguard feels like a product of that independence. It confidently says, "This game is like this. You don't need to gamble to have fun." Highguard might not be for everyone. Its long matches and heavy emphasis on team play contrast sharply with the fast-paced loops of modern shooter games. But if you're looking for something between tactical warfare and open-world skirmishes, it's a noteworthy alternative. I went into Highguard with modest expectations, shaped by a bumpy reveal and genre fatigue. I came out thinking about the raids that went right, the alliances that went wrong, and the new strategies I wanted to try. That's the mark of a game that has found something real. Highguard brings familiar ideas together in a new, cohesive structure, and most importantly, it's a lot of fun. If this is what a PvP raid shooter is, I'm excited to see where the game goes next.